Hey, good evening. How are you all tonight? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and I'm sucking on a cough drop. So if you hear some clacking around in there, I slur a word, that's why. So the October 4 emergency drill, we're going to talk about that. I'm sure you all have given some thought to that. Before we get into it, just a reminder that this and all of my videos are brought to you by the Stonemont series, the complete series, a complete plan on how to prepare for, how to survive, and how to rebuild after a total collapse of everything. And by the way, and they're available on Amazon and through our website, stonemont.us. The links are down below. And for those of you who are with us over on the Patreon channel, I just, what was it, the 34th? I think we're up to part 34 of me reading the Audible of the first book, The Reversion, the first of 6 books, The Reversion, The Revival, The Renewal, An Appeal to Heaven, The Blessings of Freedom, and Hostages to Fortune. And we're just about done with The Reversion. I think we have one more chapter to go, so in the next couple of days, that'll be done, and then I'll get started on the second book, and that's over on the Patreon channel. The link is down below on the Stonemont level if you would like to be able to hear the author reading the Audible. That's for you all. Also, I've just put up the third part of the self-defense series over on there on the Patreon channel. But let's talk about this drill that's coming up Wednesday. Now, I've seen that pretty much every channel out there has made something about this. I haven't watched any of them. So whatever I say, whether I agree with somebody else or not, I don't know. But I'm going to give you my opinion on it, and I'm going to tell you what I think you should do. Or my suggestion. You know, I'm not here to tell people what they should do, but my suggestion. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. So if you have one, grab your Stonemont mug. Don't have one? Well, Stonemont website, stonemont.us, you can have one of your very own. These are just flying off the shelves like hotcakes. So grab one, grab something, have a drink, and let's talk about this. This is the kind of thing. Now, I've heard everything in the world. I haven't watched any of the videos, but I've heard from people. I've read things. I know what happens in a case like this. Anytime something like this comes down the road, it is an opportunity for everyone to express, expound upon, scream to the top of their lungs their favorite paranoia or fear. And a lot of people feel that way, you know. Harken back to Y2K. I knew people who they almost ruined their lives, to be honest, worrying about Y2K and trying to convince everyone around them that everything was going to fall apart. Nothing was going to work after that. Everything. You all remember that, for those of you who are old enough. I think most of you are. But whenever something like this comes along, it brings that prepper paranoia out. Now, as they say, if they're really after you, it's not paranoia, right? So I want to be clear that I understand, and I could argue both sides of this. Okay, none of this stuff is new to me. Whether it's just a test, you know, like they do all the time. But Steve, the Ruskies are doing theirs the day before. It's just too much of a coincidence. No, they do it every year too. Or whether it really is that, you know, well, the signals coming out to cell phones are going to activate and I won't say the word, but the thing that a lot of people have inside of them, you know. I'm not going to disparage that feeling. because I happen to know a lot about it. I studied that from the very, very beginning of that little unfortunate situation that started back in 20. I was surrounded by people from a scientific bent, much more scientific than I, but I listened to them. And I followed the trail that they set out there, and I studied the things that they suggested that I study. And so I was very, very cognizant of the many different ideas of what that stuff was all about. So let me assure you of this. You probably can't tell me anything that I'm not aware of. Now, you might be able to. I don't know everything in the world, right? But I know a lot about this. And I doubt, let me put it that way, I would be surprised if you could tell me anything that would be new, okay? Anything that I haven't heard before. And so I say that just to say, well, I've taken all of these things into consideration. Now, is this going to be, something like's never happened before? Well, not exactly. I mean, these things, as we progress more technologically, every time we do something, it's going to be more inclusive, right? And that scares a lot of people, and rightfully so. I don't disparage that at all. I think that we are, I'm very concerned. Let me put it that way. I'm as concerned as anybody about the possibilities of what could happen, of what could be done, of the effects that could be aimed our way if certain people wanted to. I'm very concerned. But do I think that this is it? I don't know. That's it. That's it. Don't worry, in a second I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do about it. I don't know. And anybody out there who thinks that they know, I would caution them to take another hard look at things and ask themselves whether they're really operating on evidence or whether they are being driven by personal fears approaching paranoia. And if they are, if you feel that you have studied it enough and you can make a good case that this thing that's coming on Wednesday is going to be the big horrible thing that everybody is concerned, not everybody, that so many are concerned about, well, hey, make your case. I'm all for it. I mean, like I say, I know a lot, but I don't claim to know everything. If you make your case, feel free to do it in the comments. Don't just come on and say it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. Those silly comments are not helpful. Nobody pays attention to them, and very often, I mean, when they decline to that level of stupidity, I just delete them because I don't like my comment section all messed up with unthoughtful comments. This is for thoughtful people. But if you have things that you want, now no links. I don't allow links in here. Links, you can put links on Patreon. And I'm going to be very, very interested to hear what the people on the Patreon channel say about this, because they are exceptionally bright people. And I'll say this again, if you're not with us on the Patreon channel and you are serious about preparedness, that should be the very next thing that you do is come over to us over there, because we just have an amazing group of people with amazing backgrounds in technology and all sorts of things that understand these things far better than the average bear. And so I'll be interested to to hear what they have to say. And you can leave links over there, but no links on YouTube. They'll be held by the filters and they'll never get on. I'll never see them. What should you do? This is the question. Understanding that you don't know what's going to happen, then what do you do? My personal feeling is that this is simply a test. It's just a test. Oh yeah, it's going to happen the day before or the day after, the Russians do theirs. They're a lot more prepared than we are, I'll tell you that. But that's not bad. That's not bad. Somebody I was talking to the other day, and they said, Russia really prepares their people for something like this, nuclear strikes or this or that and the other thing, and we don't really do that. And I think that's good. I don't want to depend on the government for, to prepare for me, do you? Well, do you want to prepare, what would you like to depend on the government for, right? So I think that is good. And like we always talk about here, preparedness is a personal responsibility, and it is the ultimate responsibility. So here's the thing. I think it's just a drill. I would be very surprised if anything other than a drill, and thank you all very much, anything more than that happens. Now, I might say, if all this is pinging phones, hey, it'd be a good way to get a baseline of where everybody is, right? If they want to do that, who knows? They can do that anyway. They can do that without having a nationwide drill. Are they getting us ready for more of these things? Are they getting us ready to, be hypersensitive to, the latest threats? Because that's a good way to control people. Fear is a great way to control people. Are they doing it to see what the response is going to be? All these things are possibilities. But what I'm going to do is nothing. The thing is this, if you're prepared, you're prepared. See, that's what preparedness is all about. Now, for people who maybe aren't as prepared as they want to be, well, take a look in the next couple of days if you want to, and say, what should you tighten up on? Do you have a couple of empty propane canisters you might want to, take them down and trade in and get new ones? You want to keep your gas tanks on your vehicles full. You want to make sure that your generators are in good shape. You want to make sure you got plenty of fuel for your generators. Hopefully you've got different kinds of generators, dual fuel or solar or whatever. Are all those things that you need to keep you warm and cozy in working order? Well, if they are, then you're in good shape. If they're not, go tighten up the ones that you can. If you feel that you're short on these things, this is an excellent drill for you. And if you're a little bit afraid, I would suggest, if you're new to this stuff, there are so many people in the prepper world that just try to scare you to death all the time, because fear sells. And don't fall prey to it. Don't. Preparedness is something that needs to be pursued and handled, with a level head, with a clear eye, in a balanced and an organized way. Because if you operate out of fear, you waste time, you waste money, you waste your mental equilibrium. So don't allow yourself to be all twisted about by these people who just want to scare you to death. They get something out of it. It's just it's that fix they need. You shouldn't need a fix. Preparedness is about responsibility. It's about living a good life. It's about doing the things that will make sure that you continue to live a good life. So when this thing comes about on Wednesday, If you know, if you want to put your phone in a microwave, you know, wrapped in aluminum foil, go ahead. I'm not going to. Or don't. You know, I'm not going to say you're silly or stupid if you do it. Do what's right for you. Everybody has different ideas. It doesn't make one person right and one person wrong. It means that we look at things differently, right? But I imagine that on Thursday I'll come back and we'll talk about, yep, it went off and nothing happened. But you know what's going to happen after that? You're going to hear stories. Here's where somebody will come on and say, you sound like you're some kind of government person trying to... No. There will be those who came about and said, well, nothing happened that we saw, but how do we know that things weren't done to our phones or electronics and this and that and the other? See, there's no end to it. Live your life, continue to prepare. You should always be preparing. You should always be bettering your position. And you should always do it, you know, with a calm mind and in a relaxed manner. Because if you let it wind you up, you know, you're allowing it to affect the best tool you have, and that's your mind. So don't do that. Anyway, that's my opinion on this. I think it's a drill. I don't think anything's going to happen. We will see, right? And Thursday, I fully expect to come back and say, well, nothing happened to me. How about you? So if you have, you know, a different opinion, feel free to express that in the comments politely and, you know, give your side, explain why you do. Don't just come on and make, you know, dumb comments like, no, if you think that, you're an idiot. You don't understand. Don't you realize? This is the kind of thing that brings those comments out. To the rest of you, remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So continue to prepare well, and you'll live well. You'll live exactly tomorrow, however you prepare to live, okay? And remember, now if you want something that'll really give you the total plan on what to do, the Stone Mont series, the links are down below. You can get them on Amazon or you can get them straight from me on our website, stonemont.us. And if you do that, I get to sign them for you. And I love doing that because I love my relationship with my readers. Read this and this is a complete plan, like I said, about how to prepare for, how to survive, and how to rebuild, which is important. Rebuild after a complete collapse of pretty much anything. And again, if you're not with us on Patreon, love to have you over there. You'll learn a lot more over there than because we have a lot more over there than we do on YouTube, and that link is also down below. So you all have a good night. Don't fret about this drill. If you need to up your game somewhere, do it. And then don't worry about it. And sleep well. And have a good day tomorrow. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.